And Singapore-based robotics companies get help to scale up and grow abroad with an accelerator program that provides customized support and global market access. Let's stay on that topic, and here to share more is Professor Quek Tong Boon, Chief Executive of the Singapore National Robotics Programme, and Chinn Lim, CEO of dConstruct Robotics, an AI and deep tech company. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show on this very interesting topic. Prof, I start with you perhaps. We already have existing programs that are available for startups. So why come up with RoboNexus? What challenges will it help specifically solve for this industry?
The number of robotics companies in Singapore has been growing over the years, and most of these are startups and SMEs. And we noticed that among them, there are a handful of companies with aspiration and the potential to be global champions. So because of that, NRP thinks it's time for us to have something like the RoboNexus to allow us to provide support to such companies.
What is this something that you are going to be providing?
So this something is mainly, I would say, in the form of a mentorship to help them scale up their businesses. So the RoboNexus is actually anchored by a very experienced advisory board. The members have been there, done that. So the experience I have with the pilot scheme with these members is that they actually have been giving very sharp feedback to the companies to allow them to have a different way of looking at their growth plan, growth strategy, and provide very useful advice to these companies.
Well, how different is, and I'm not going to say grant, because you're very specific about saying this is not a grant, it's a program, right?
Yes.
So it's a program for the robotics industry, but how does it compare to other SME programs or grants elsewhere? Why is yours so special?
Well, this is from the NRP point of view, this is our second ecosystem level initiative. The first one, which we launched last year, we call it the RoboCluster. RoboCluster is somewhat different from RoboNexus. In the RoboCluster, the aim is to have a platform to gather companies, researchers, users, and so on, so they come together and identify, hopefully through that we can identify needs and to match their needs with technologies, with solutions. And where there are gaps, we are prepared to explore R&D to plug those gaps.
Yeah, I mean, it provides what I'm reading here: tailored mentorship, business development support, global market access. And Mr. Lim, that was what you liked about it, isn't it? Your company has benefited from RoboNexus. Tell us exactly how. Have you got everything that you want to get out of this program?
Well, we'd like to have more, obviously, like any small company. The advantage that we were able to figure out with NRP and through this program, first and foremost, was the ability to work with them to understand the network that they provide. So this network covers not only the local industries, but international. The second aspect about how we were able to take advantage of looking further beyond the shores were essentially the experienced steering committee members that help us look beyond the shores of Singapore. Their personal network, as well as their experience, allow us to think beyond the shores.
Right, and these are things you probably couldn't have, you could have done it yourself, but this accelerated perhaps the speed at which you did it. Explain to me, your company is now having a presence in Toronto, Munich, San Francisco. You're looking to expand even further. What are some of the growth opportunities that you're looking to tap into these cities that you're now allowed to do it?
I think fundamentally, when we are in deep tech and AI robotics in this specific case, we have to focus essentially on the fundamentals. And when we are looking at expanding, there are certainly distractions to our focus. So by figuring out with those experts who already placed themselves there, it allows us to touch base with them and figure out with their experience and advice what best steps to take in order to engage. Many times when we want to look at those spaces, it's always about the relationships we build.
It is, isn't it, at the end of the day? And Prof. Quek, you talk about the ecosystem that has grown so much in the past few years since you first came up 8 years ago. What about the talent and the attracting of the talent into this robotics field? How will this scheme strengthen the talent pipeline that will help to grow the ecosystem as you want to?
Well, there are many ways for us to grow the talents in Singapore. In the case of NRP, one of the main source of talent building has been through the various projects, R&D projects that we fund. So through that, the people who took part in the projects, it's an opportunity for them to cut their teeth and gain experience. So that has been a tremendous source of talent for us over the years. And we also hope that the people who grew up through our projects, they can then go on to contribute to other parts of the ecosystem. So that's a very powerful source for us in terms of talent building. For the RoboNexus program itself, I suppose is more in terms of, if you're able to achieve success through the company, then hopefully more people will want to come to our industry. But in terms of overall talent, we never have enough talent.
Yeah.
So definitely that's one of the areas where we have to continue to work hard to make sure that we get our fair share of talent for robotics.
Yeah, because you are competing with many other industries, right?
Exactly.
So you have to be that much more attractive. You're also competing internationally, not to mention that.
Yeah.
There are also initiatives within RoboNexus to convince more industries to adopt robotic solutions. There are still many obstacles to that. How have you been overcoming them?
We are doing a few things. First, in terms of the type of research projects that we undertake, we try to bring in the potential adopters as early as possible so that whatever solutions, technology we develop is something that's purposeful, something that the industry wants.
Okay, for Mr. Lim, I just want to remind our viewers that your company supports industries such as construction, defense, and logistics when it comes to mapping and navigating 3D digital twins. Is that correct?
Yes.
Maybe you can put it in better words, but what I want to ask you is this global expansion, that's what you do now. But is there anything new in the pipeline for your company?
Yes, a lot of the things that we have to do, we have to keep pace with what's happening out there. When I mean out there, you're talking about some of the very big boys in the space of AI. So we need to play our part and deep dive into thinking about what's coming beyond the horizon.
Yeah.
So we build and we need to figure out very advanced algorithm in specific technologies that help us in the fields of security, surveillance, logistics, and so on. So these technologies include 3D Gaussian splatting, which allows us to use AI to recreate the world. And from the recreation of that world, we are able to provide specific features like being able to search spatially, to be able to identify what changed over time. And significantly is also to identify the objects that robots see. So if we can do this at an expedited pace, it allows us to understand, have situational awareness. And
that will have uses in?
Yeah, that helps us when we are figuring out as a robot is used to do safe inspection. When we are walking along a corridor, are things blocking its way such that if there is emergent services that needs to get through, cannot get through, so it alerts us to that. Or when we're using an inspection, specifically, we sign a MOU with SBS Transit, and we're very proud partners with them to figure out when we are using robots to do inspection of their trains, where are the parts where there are issues, we can highlight that and bring it to bear immediately for the technician to take action. So all these requires very sophisticated algorithms for us to identify them at the edge and bring to the attention of the technicians quickly.
Okay, well, I do want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming by and speaking with us. And we do appreciate your insight into this fascinating sector. And I've been speaking there with Professor Quek Tong Boon, Chief Executive of the Singapore National Robotics Programme, as well as Chinn Lim, CEO of dConstruct Robotics. Thank you.
Thank you very much.